Hello and welcome to the webinar Cloud ROI, a case study. I am Chris Frantz and I'll be presenting today. All right, what are we going to talk about today? Well, first I'll give some introductions, a little bit more info about myself as well as the company Advanced 2000. I'll talk about enterprise architecture, various cloud pricing models, some on-premise pricing models, and then I'll kind of get into a case study on Ask You Nixon Ferguson, their ROI. And then I'll talk a little bit about a reverse ROI and then wrap up with some questions. All right, well, who's Chris Frantz? Well, currently I am the regional president at Advanced 2000, and I help clients meet their business needs with various types of technology, primarily cloud as well as on-premise technology. I've been in IT for 30 plus years, 11 of which I was CIO at Little. I've worked for large companies like IBM, Bank of America, and Wells Fargo. So I am definitely an IT guy. I've written several articles and been published called BIM and the Cloud within AEC Bytes. It's an online magazine, as well as the book sponsored by Autodesk, Mastering Revit Architecture 2011 and 2013. I speak in various venues, AIA, Autodesk, WAG White, various conferences, and I've got a computer science degree from Ohio State. Who is Advanced 2000? Well, we've been in business nearly 30 years. We're offices all over the East Coast, but we support clients all across North America and Canada. We've got 180 people, about 80% that are highly trained, certified IT professionals. And we work with also not only our offices, but various partners across the country. We are a privately held company, and we privately own all of our data centers. We don't outsource any of that. And you can see here the quote from our CEO, Brian Moad, which very well sums up who we are. What makes Advanced 2000 so unique is our culture, which drives trust, transparency, teamwork, and going to any length to make things right. Our number one priority is to serve our clients. What markets do we serve? Well, today the case study that I'm talking about is in the AEC industry, but this case study can apply to any of our industries. We serve the healthcare market, government, a lot of state and local government, accounting firms, education, K through 12, as well as higher ed, professional services, manufacturing, and legal. What do we do? Well, primarily we offer private cloud computing, but we do have, like I said, just as many clients with on-premise equipment. We provide telephony. We have a strong telephony background, whether it's on-premise or hosted voice. And we also provide IT strategy and risk assessments and consulting to help people figure out where they're at and where they want to go. What else do we do? Well, the services we provide, we're one of the number one Office 365 resellers in the US. We help move our clients to that platform. We do web hosting. We have co-location. Say you've got a large investment in some technology, you're not ready to move it to the cloud. We can actually take that, move it into our data centers, and co-locate it with the rest of your cloud services. We're a competitive local exchange carrier in the Western New York area. We can provide carrier services. We do IT implementation, on-site monitoring, and provide business continuity and disaster recovery services. Our support is 24/7 by 365, both help desk and end user support. And we provide technical support and various maintenance plans to meet your needs. We also sell hardware where the need arises, whether it be desktop servers, storage, firewalls, network switches, and wireless access point. First, I want to talk about enterprise architecture, and this kind of is the background that you're going to need to really figure out this ROI. Well, the first thing you need to do with business, the principals generally do this, is what are my business goals? Do I want to grow? What parts of the country do I want to be in? What kind of services do I want to offer? Those define who you are and what you're going to do, which will decide which technology you need. So every firm has these enterprise architecture components. You have the technology infrastructure, which is the foundation. That's like the plumbing. You have the hardware, the software, all the network, the cables, all that hardware infrastructure that you need to run your business. On top of that is your data. The data is the only thing you can't replace, so you've got to make sure it's backed up and protected and easily recoverable. If you're taking pictures of a building that's being constructed and you lose them, you're never going to get that back, because those pictures the building's built. You can't get into the inside's the framing. The applications are where the users live every day. It's your Revit, it's your Microsoft Office, it's your Excel. Your applications contain business logic that drive everything else. Applications interact with data, which ride on technology infrastructure. And all of this technology comes together to support a business goal. I've known business owners that have told me, they said, if I could run my business without technology, I would. So you want to make sure that you have just enough technology to run your business. And most people don't realize, most of the end users, like I said, they're living in the applications. They don't know what all's involved with the data and the technology infrastructure. But that technology infrastructure for a typical firm is 80 to 90% of your annual IT cost. It's that cost that the cloud is attacking. So if I can reduce that technology infrastructure cost and still be able to run my data and applications, then my business is doing a lot better, because I can still run my business for less money. And this is very confusing. I'm going to try to give you a high-level overview of the various cloud pricing models, whether it's Advanced 2000 or Amazon or Microsoft Azure. You generally have some kind of a one-time setup cost, a project cost, for somebody to come in, understand your needs, set up everything, migrate your applications, migrate your data to the cloud. Whether it be an outsourced third party, providing the setup, or whether it's your own IT staff, there's always a setup cost. Software as a service. There's some firms that have a very good software platform. Office 365 is a good example. What is it? The Salesforce. That was kind of built as a software as a service. So it's a very particular software that maybe used to be sold as a PC-based tool like Microsoft Office. Now it's offered as a cloud-based. So they're basically delivering the software from a remote data center. That's software as a service. Infrastructure as a service. Basically, instead of you having to go out and buy all these servers and network switches and so forth, somebody else does that for you, and it puts it in a data center and allows you to access it remotely. So it's infrastructure as a service. The carriers wanting to get into the act of this whole cloud pricing. They want to offer their network as a service. So they're trying to make this very easy, so you don't have to build everything yourself. So rather than go and building your own car, you want somebody to just hand you the keys. So network as a service is, they'll own all the endpoints, the routers, the routes, and all the circuits, and basically manage it for you, and you pay a monthly fee. Projects as a service. You're starting to see some staffing companies or consultants that offer you, say, hey, I'll manage your project for X amount, whatever. That's a project as a service. Well, Advanced 2000, we kind of look at all these things, and we have software as a service, we have all these other services, but we say, heck, why don't we just offer everything as a service, everything that you need to run your business, or quote unquote IT as a service. And that's kind of where we're at, and that's what the case study is going to be talking about today. And with the cloud, the reason why everybody is kind of moving to a cloud pricing model is the economies of scale. So if say Advanced 2000, we set up a large pool of server storage, we do it one time, and then many clients can benefit from it. So, and the unit cost of what each client would have to pay is smaller than if that client were to only set up their server. So if you've got a 50-person firm and you're setting up a server for 50 people, you wouldn't set up a server for 10,000 people because your firm is only 50 people. But Advanced 2000, we'd set up a server for 10,000 people and then just give you a little piece of it of 50,000. It can drive tremendous economies of scale and savings that way. So on-premise pricing models, everybody's familiar with this, but I'll kind of just highlight it. You've got to build everything yourself. I used to do this as a CIO, as an IT provider at IBM. I would buy the hardware, I would budget for it, I would do the servers, the desktops, the phones. I would have to buy the software, I would pay maintenance on them, have to negotiate with the carriers, the circuits, had to hire the staff, had to train them, had to make sure that they had the right facilities with the sufficient power and cooling to run all this technology. And there's really no economies of scale. Like I said, if you've got a 200-person firm or a 100-person firm, you're buying the hardware, software, telecom, just enough for your company. you don't have any volume discount. You're not buying in bulk. You're just buying what you need, kind of at the retail level. That's a good point. Cloud is more buying wholesale. Doing it yourself is more buying retail. So let's get into the case study. I repeat this case study all the time, so that's why I thought I'd just record a webinar for it. And so Ask You Nixon Ferguson is a client of ours, and for I think since 2012, been a while now. And they are an architecture firm in Memphis, Tennessee. And here's the principle from Joe Veronsky. Don't be afraid to move to the cloud. It's a good solution. These guys were looking at a large capital expense to upgrade their on-premise equipment, and Joe was out looking for alternatives. Is there a way that I don't have to spend a couple $100,000? So what we did, and we worked together with Joe. He found us, and the first thing you have to do is he determined his annual IT expense. What are you spending on everything right now? And then you have to extend it out 3 to 5 years, I suggested, but he says, no, I'm going to do it 7 years because we keep our equipment, our servers a real long time. So I said, fine, 7 years. And then compare that. This is a spreadsheet. So he did his cloud cost, and then he did his on-premise cost, and then he did his cloud cost. Well, first year, and then out 7 years. And what ended up happening is the first year setup cost were a little less than the on-prem solution if you were to refresh everything. And then by the end of year 7, he had a cumulative savings of about $225,000, which averages about $33,000 a year. And that primarily comes from some productivity gains, but mostly the hardware consolidation and refresh. You don't have any more phone systems to buy. You don't have any more servers to buy. You don't have any high performance desktops to buy. Saves a ton of money. So I'm kind of getting into some of these little details. So just so you know, Joe's authorized us to share this spreadsheet. I'm just kind of got summary pages here. But if you want to do something similar for your firm, just reach out to me and I'll send this to you. So, and I'm not going to go through each line on it here, but basically you can see what he did. This is his on non-cloud or his on-premise expenses for the year, and based on the number of people and the existing phones and the maintenance, the T1s, the circuits, office project, in-house support, and so forth. And he comes out to, and then he kind of factored that out, 7 years. And you got to make sure you do that to make sure that you're picking up your equipment refreshes with its on-premise, which you don't have in the cloud. And you can see his numbers there. So that says, all right, good. And then he did the same thing for the cloud. It's like, okay, here's what I need to run my business. Back to the principal defines his business goals, and then you have to create the enterprise architecture that supports those business goals. This is the technology infrastructure. This is the applications. This is the data that's that pyramid to run his business. And you can see all the cloud, the MS virtual desktops, MS Windows virtual desktops, and so forth. And we ran all this stuff down, and you can see save some money year 17. We had a dip in there, converting some labor into more billable and so forth. And then you can see here, 4 years, 7 years, he's saving about $225,000. That's what the cloud does to a business. Now, it's important to note, now if some firms come to us and say, well, I just bought all new on-premise equipment, and it's hard to justify moving to the cloud. Yes, it would be for all in, because basically you're buying two infrastructures. You've got a new one. In order to make these numbers work, the cloud infrastructure has to replace your on-premise infrastructure. You can't have them both. And there's some clients that just have all new stuff, and they say, well, but I can use you guys for email right now because I don't have anybody doing my Office 365, and I don't want to manage my own Exchange server. So some clients, we start very small, and as their local infrastructure ages out, we move more and more to the cloud services. Now let me talk about reverse ROI. Most people don't think about this. Basically, this is okay. I did a cost-based analysis that said this is what I'm currently spending, and this is what I'm going to spend on the cloud. But now what if I took all my cloud capabilities and try to duplicate those on premise, because I don't have 24. A lot of these things come included with the cloud, like 24/7 staffing. I don't have that locally. Redundant desktops and servers. I don't have that locally, but I have it on the cloud. Full virtualization. Most small firms can't even touch virtualization, but they can in the cloud. So AEC Revit experts, we've got a quote-unquote BIM manager in the cloud. If they have some hard problems or a corrupt model, they can call us and we can help them. If they were to duplicate all of this, for a 30-person company, they were spending, $60,000 a year. It would be more like $500,000 a year to be able to duplicate all of this. They wouldn't do that. That's my point. Is not only do the numbers work, or you save you money, you get more IT. You get professional enterprise grade IT for the cost of what you're currently paying now, less than. So that's really why the cloud is so popular. I get more IT for my money. I get more reliability. I get more access to staff and so forth. It's very good. I think my smallest client is a 2-person architecture firm in Washington, D.C. They just want to be able to have someone else taking care of all their IT, and that's what they use the cloud for. Questions. I do have a few here, and if there's some that you think of that I don't ask, then just please reach out to me. There's my phone, there's my email, and this ANF case study spreadsheet, as I said, I will send it out if you request it. Do you have to have multiple offices or collaboration needs to make this ROI work? No. ANF is one office in Memphis, Tennessee. And some of our smaller firms are just one office, but you're set up to be able to manage multiple offices very, very easily. I tell firm principals and CEOs, I go, look, 10 offices of IT cost a lot more than one office of IT. That's really what the cloud is doing. It's consolidating your IT into one office. Are there soft savings that you haven't considered? Yes, there are, but we didn't. A lot of times principals don't like to put soft savings into a ROI spreadsheet because it's kind of squishy and they don't want to base it just on that. But I've got at least one client that factored in the productivity of their staff not having to upload files on Friday to some cloud server or file server, FTP, and then download them and then relink them. And he says, conservatively, if my staff saved 1 minute an hour with the cloud, that, given their bill rates, would pay for all of this infrastructure. And he said, not only do the hard numbers work, but the soft number, the productivity is through the roof. If I just upgraded my infrastructure, can I still make the ROI work? As I mentioned, it depends. Depending on what you've upgraded, there's been cases where, maybe you have a new server or a new storage that we can co-locate. We can move to our data center, and then you can wrap cloud services around it, like VDIs or whatever. So that we've done that. Or if maybe you got new desktops, but you need a new phone system. Maybe we just start with the phone system in the cloud. We just start talking, start getting that 24/7 access, and we'll even support your on-premise equipment as we go through this transition. So let's just talk, and every situation is different. Is it possible to pay for this solution yearly rather than monthly, or a prepaid discount? This sounds like a CFO. Yes, we've done that. Most of our clients are on a monthly service fee, and but if you want to pay the year in advance, or a couple years and get a discount, we can certainly work out something. We're very flexible, and we're here to meet your needs. Does this ROI only work for all-in, or will Project Cloud see a positive ROI? What all-in means is you're running your entire business in our cloud, your desktops, your phones, your financial system, everything. We're an extension of your IT department. Versus a Project Cloud, you've got this large healthcare provider. All they're doing is designing this hospital. I want 30 people to come together, design this hospital, and when it's done, they're done. The ROI certainly works for all in, because the more volume you have, the more potential savings you can have. But Project Cloud's just as easily. So a lot of times what we've seen that, say you're the lead firm and you're tasked with making this project work, and you've got to provide the technology for all these project team members, whether they're in your office or in your company or consultants. And if you were to go out and try to build what we've built, you would spend a lot more. So in that sense, yes, having a geographically dispersed team coming together in real time, working in the cloud, there is no more cost-effective way to do it than in a central private cloud service like Advanced 2000. That's all I have. This is just a quick video. If you've got any more questions, reach out and give me a call. Take care. Bye.